Hi, this is Simon with just a brief reminder to follow us on our Facebook page, Chronicles on the Fly. Like the page, send us a message, any questions or anything that you would like us to talk about. And maybe on the next episode, we'll do just that. So there you go, Chronicles on the Fly on Facebook. Thanks. Let's get into the show. And we're back. I was going to get a beer out of the fridge, but I thought I won't drink alone. That'll be too teasing for you.
That's right, then, Bob. So, what's going on?
Do you want to bash anything more on the desk and make noises through the microphone?
Well, there's nothing else to do here, you know what I mean?
Oh, the audience will love it. Smack their ears around.
A whole 10 people.
No. 10 people. We get at least 13 or 14.
Good afternoon, Simon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mel.
How are we?
Fantabulous. How's your week been?
Oh, yeah, it's been quite interesting. You know, I went in for a little procedure during the week, so...
Oh, do you want to talk about this?
Not really, to be honest. Just a simple...
You brought it up. You had to get that wart off your toenail.
Oh, no, not that one, mate. That's there for a while, that one. No, it's a small, simple procedure. Went in and out, day surgery, so it was pretty good.
Okay.
Tell you what, some of those anaesthetic they give you, Jesus Christ, it knocks you out. Sent me for 6 for the rest of the day.
That horse tranquilizer they gave you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I was, knocked out for most of the afternoon. Then I couldn't sleep at night.
So did you spend some time in bed watching, catching up on some Netflix?
Yes, I watched I watched The Last Dance.
Yes.
I watched the last episode, so that was good.
YouTube and Netflix, they are, I was going to say big time wasters, but it's not necessarily wasting time when it's educational and, you know, thought-provoking stuff, I think.
Yeah, I like the majority, 99% of the stuff I watch is all documentary-based.
I'm the same. I can't watch too much bullshit. It's got to be stuff that, you know, makes you, you know, teaches you something or shows you something about history that you didn't know before.
History, a bit of sport. I like watching a bit of sport in there because sometimes some guys make some awesome clips, you know, the best ofs. I've been doing a lot of UFC ones lately. It's pretty cool. Just
before we jumped online, I was watching, I only got through a few, but Jordan's top 10 plays of all time of his career.
Oh. Was it an 89 Cavs series there? That was a good one.
I got from 10 to 8, I think. That was about it. Then it was time to start, so I turned it off. But I'll go back to that one afterwards. I think number one will probably be the 1998 Game 6 shot with 6.6 seconds on the clock.
True, yeah.
To that jump shot against Utah to win the game in the series.
Mm.
So you watched, all right, we may as well talk about The Last Dance first of all, huh? Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Seems as though we've been talking about it probably for the past 5 weeks. What do you think, firstly, of the final 2 episodes and overall?
Really good, but not as good as probably what it probably could have been.
Yeah, I think I agree.
It was pretty, I think it was awesome. The other episodes were amazing. And I think maybe like even the last one was a bit of a letdown. I think these guys hit such highs on their previous episodes that we were expecting the same. Or I was expecting the same.
Well, one thing that I'm a bit disappointed about, and maybe this is just being a bit parochial or biased, is that Luke Longley was not mentioned at all.
Yeah, very, very rarely, not very rarely seen.
I think Jordan mentioned his name once, but across the 10 episodes, there was nothing actually about him. For the whole series, there's absolutely nothing about him, and I think that's a bit crap considering this guy has come from Perth, the most isolated capital city in the world, right? Basically came from nowhere to go and play college basketball first, and then work his way up through, Timberwolves. I think
it was the Timberwolves. Yeah,
he was drafted by Minnesota Timberwolves, crappy team. Goes to Chicago, and he's and is the starting centre for 3 championships in a row. A guy from Perth, right?
Yeah, true.
That's an incredible story right there. Surely that's worth 5 minutes of discussion in 10 episodes.
True, but even if you look, everyone you can talk about all those teams, all those 6 teams that won the championships for Chicago. Everyone's going to turn and say Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, and even Rodman was only there for 3 of them. He wasn't there for 6 of them. Steve Kerr only gets mentioned because he's the coach of Golden State Warriors now, but no one else. You couldn't. Very few people could tell me the rest of the teams or the starting lineups of the other 5 teams that played for Chicago.
Yeah, I think earlier in the series, like Horace Grant got a good run. There's a bit about
B.J. Armstrong had.
I was going to say there's a bit about B.J. Armstrong, but mainly after he'd left, I suppose, when the Bulls were playing against them. But the context was that he was an ex-player, right?
Ron, there wasn't a lot on Ron. You see him, but it wasn't like a lot on Ron Harper.
Yeah. I was going to say in the final team, I suppose Harper gets about as much mention as Longley, Stuffall.
Yeah.
As well. So, yeah. But I just think that the fact of where Luke Longley came from, being the first Australian ever to play in the NBA as well as win 3 consecutive and being a starter for those 3, was Harper a starter for 3 consecutive?
Oh, I couldn't answer that one, but I'm not sure. He might have been for the last series.
Maybe I'm being biased. And I know that Luke Longley, stays away from the limelight and he very rarely gives interviews and that type of thing. So they might have found it hard to get to him, but maybe they didn't even try in the first place.
Sure. I agree with you. I think it would have been nice to hear from him, to put his perspective in.
Well, I've actually listened to a number of podcasts of his in the last week or so. Not his podcast, but podcasts that he's been a guest on. The Howie Games, which is an excellent sports podcast by Mark Howard. And that was actually from a couple of years ago. He was on there. So if anyone wants to go and listen to that, it's episode number 39. And he speaks for, over an hour. And most of it is about his NBA career. And it's brilliant. He's an interesting fella. And I've listened to him on a couple interviews that you can find online as well. One was with 6PR, one was with TAB Radio. A couple of years old or a few years old. Actually, I think one of them was from late last year. So, yeah, he's an interesting guy. He's always going to be interesting when it comes, considering the career he's had.
Absolutely, what he's achieved. 3 championships.
Part of what's interesting about him, or I suppose even the mystique about him, is that he's distanced himself from the limelight purposely. Like even when he was playing, he didn't seek out the limelight. He very rarely ever did anything like endorsements, things like that. And he even says he could have made a shitload more money in his time if he had have gone down that path, promoting products and things like that, advertising, whatever.
Yeah, true.
But he didn't want to be part of that. So I think that's quite admirable, actually.
Or everyone to their own. That's his decision.
Yeah. Good on him.
He made that choice.
Yeah.
But I really got to take off my hat to the director, and getting that footage was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And the footage of which was really good as well, was when Rodman didn't show up for training.
Oh, that was just funny, as I thought.
That was brilliant. Yeah, but how they got the footage? Okay, come this way.
Oh, when he was running out of the stadium and the press group just ran after him, but they were miles too late.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I was like, that is absolutely brilliant.
That was funny.
Like, how did that guy get the footage for that? It was incredible.
And the coach, Phil Jackson, didn't make a big deal of it all. It was like...
No, okay, that's just Rodman.
They've played, at that point, game 2 of the NBA Finals, and he just takes off to go wrestling with Hulk Hogan. That's hilarious.
It was pretty good, actually. I liked how he did it. He went on. That was WCW back then. The Hollywood Hogan smacked out a bloke with a chair.
Imagine if he had got injured and couldn't play the rest of the finals.
Oh, mate. Oh my God, that would have gone down like a lead balloon.
I thought the part about Steve Kerr was interesting. His background, the way I didn't realise that his father had been murdered. The best part probably of the whole series is, well, the best part of Jordan's career. The defining moment, really, you could probably say, is that 1998 Game 6 of the NBA Finals against Utah Jazz, the last minute. So they're 3 points down, and he runs the ball into the key and scores a layup. So they're 1 point down. But there's about 40 seconds or so on the clock.
They scored within 4 seconds there. That's how quickly that changes now. Now it puts the pressure on the Jazz to score once again.
Jordan with
plenty of time still for Utah. They go down the other end, and Malone's got the ball.
Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it.
And Jordan just comes from nowhere from behind him and steals it. It spills out of Malone's hands. It could just bounce and he could just pick it up again. It actually hit his foot and goes between his legs, just the perfect spot for it to land. It just hits his heel and rolls towards Jordan. Just brilliant. He just picks it up and strolls.
Here comes Chicago. 17 seconds. 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6.
And he just slowly strolls up to the other end and waits. Drains the clock a bit and then just picks his timing to run in.
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead.
How would you say it? Just holds up basically, and Russell from Utah just keeps going and slips. Now, for me, that's not a push because there's all this conjecture about, did Jordan's left hand push him?
Nah, the motion was already there. The
hands touched, but it was a feather. That was like a feather. There was no pressure, you could tell.
No, the motion was already there.
Timeout, Utah. 5.2 seconds left. Michael Jordan running on fumes with 45 points.
Just the stillness of Jordan to make that shot, to put them 1 point up. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That may have been, who knows what will unfold in the next several months, but that may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA.
And that's it. 5 seconds to go, but they got the timeout, and then Utah's got the ball from the side, right, to restart. Is it Stockton? Yeah. Still had the chance to make that shot, and it rimmed out, but if that had gone in, how different things would have been. Well, could have been, because it would have gone to a Game 7.
If they score, there's a Game 7. If they don't, for the second straight year, they go out in 6. Stockton. Harper's on him. Behind the screen. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their second three-peat.
Just such millimeters in everything, isn't there?
I actually like that part with Reggie Miller too. That was pretty cool as well. I didn't really like Reggie Miller as a player back then, obviously.
He speaks really well, doesn't he? I thought.
Yeah, he does. He's a really good speaker. But I respect him as a player. He was a really good player.
Yeah.
And that game, was that when Jordan took the shot and the ball was going in and it just dummied out? Was that?
Oh, yes, another one where there was millimeters in it. Yeah. I
was like, the ball's going in. It's in. No, it's not.
So that was the Eastern Conference playoff, wasn't it?
Yeah, against the Pacers with Larry Bird was the coach.
No, brilliant series. And overall, I think it made me wish that I had been interested back when, it was actually happening.
No, I was interested. You knew I was interested in it.
Yeah, just for me, it was never a sport that registered with me. Yeah.
I remember as a kid, because my cousin Frank was into it, and he used to have a video, I'll never forget, it was dazzling dunks and basketball bloopers. And it was all about the NBA. So that was kind of like, no, it would have been, what year was that? 89, I think that video. Frank had that video.
So you would have been in primary school. Yeah.
I was in primary school watching it. It was brilliant. It's actually on YouTube if anyone wants to watch it.
Speaking of YouTube, I just opened up YouTube, and what comes up as a recommended video? 2002 Washington Wizards at Chicago Bulls. So Michael Jordan's first time back to play against Chicago when he came out of retirement the second time. and played for Washington.
So I actually lost a bit of track after that. I didn't really know much about his Washington Wizards career. People reckon it's not actually that bad.
Well, I think, on an individual level, but for the team, he played 2 seasons. Was it 2 seasons, I think? And they didn't even make the playoffs either season. So not much really to write about there.
Again, a well-crafted, well-directed, well-scripted, well-edited piece. And there's a few people complaining on Twitter about how they were annoyed that it would go from 98 back to 96 and 90.
I liked that about it because I thought
that's brilliant.
That provided context.
And perspective. It provided perspective, like how, why, and like why they didn't like the Detroit Pistons, why the Redmond came up. Like, it's brilliant. I reckon it was awesome.
I think those people that are complaining about that should just stick to watching highlights on YouTube if that's all they wanted. At the end of the day, the director is there to tell a story. And we might complain, you left this out, you left that out. But at the end of the day, the storytelling was actually fantastic. There's no denying that.
Absolutely.
It was a brilliantly told story.
Anyway, I was having a beer the other day and I opened a lid and it came up with a great question. I thought we should talk about it if you want to talk about it.
The lid asked you a question?
The lid had a question on the back of a beer lid and it said, talking point, what is your greatest Australian 11 cricket team? What a fantastic question. Where would you start?
Maradona.
Cricket team. Sorry, start talking cricket now.
All right.
Yeah, so I thought that was a really good question.
You'd start at the top of the order, I suppose.
Well, top of the order.
All right, go.
I'll give you mine. It was mine.
What beer was this, by the way? Let's create the context.
It was Hahn Premium Dry. No, Hahn Super Dry.
Hahn Super Dry. Okay, they're asking questions on their beer tops now, are they? All right. Okay.
So who would you open up? Mark Taylor. Followed with Steve Smith as opening.
I used to like Michael Slater as an opener because I know that, but the reason why is he would face the first ball of a test match and he'd send it to the boundary. I used to love that about him. Just no fear from the first ball. But no, obviously he's not going to be the greatest opener.
So I'd put Tubby Taylor. I'd put Steve Smith at second to open with him. Third, you got to go. Obviously, there's only one person you can go with.
I liked Jeff Marsh back in the day.
He was good too. But you got to go Don Bradman. 4, you go.
Hang on. Let me write this down as we go. So you're saying Taylor, Smith, Bradman. Okay.
Ponting.
Yes. Ponting. Steve Waugh.
Steve Waugh.
5.
Yep.
Ponting.
AB.
Alan Water. Yep. Hang on.
At 6.
All right. Let's do this slowly. Let me think. Number 7, Gilchrist.
Adam Gilchrist as your wiki.
Okay. 8. So now we're into the tail, the bowlers.
The bowlers. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Obviously, Warne is a given.
Warne and McGrath are the givens.
2 givens.
Right. Obviously, McGrath's going to be last.
You're left with 2 spots to fill, okay? I've really been thinking about this, right? Now, everyone talks Craig McDermott, fantastic bowler. Fleming was a great bowler. Gillespie was a great bowler. Jeff Thompson, before my era, but apparently great bowler. Now,
hang on, we've got 6. We've got 6. What did I miss one? Taylor,
7.
Taylor, Smith. I missed. Hang on.
Bradman.
Taylor, Smith, Bradman, Ponting,
Waugh,
Gilchrist. I missed AB.
AB
was 6. Yep, and Gilly 7. Yep, I think we're on the same page here.
All right. Then I threw a dark horse in there as another bowler. I reckon Pat Cummins probably deserves a bit of a gig.
What?
I reckon he's pretty good. He's good, man.
He's been around for 5 minutes compared to these other ones.
Well, would you put Fleming ahead of him?
Fleming?
Or who would you put in front of him as a bowler?
Who's Fleming?
Damien Fleming. He was all right. He wasn't a bad bowler.
He doesn't come into it to discuss the greatest ever.
Craig McDermott?
I would put Craig McDermott above Fleming, but I don't think he still makes the greatest 11.
Well, who would you put?
All right, let me put number 11, McGrath. Where does Warren come in? Number 8, I suppose, after Gilly?
Number 8, I suppose.
Warren. All right, so we got 9 and 10. 2 bowlers. A fast bowler. Oh, well, Lilly. Dennis Lilly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's, of course.
Okay, so we'll put Lilly number 10.
Yep.
Dennis Lilly. All right, so we're down to 1 bowler to go. Now, the question is a fast bowler or a spinner?
I'd say you have to go fast, wouldn't you? Oh, AB could always throw a bit of a spin every now and then.
Or Smith even.
Or Smith.
Ponting used to like to roll the arm over once in a while, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Steve Waugh.
Steve Waugh was medium pace.
I loved him as a bowler. I loved his slower ball. He'd come out.
Yeah,
how many wickets he used to take with his slow ball. Okay, number 9. What about Tomo? We might have to refer to stats for this, but...
and the other one is 12th man. Who would you put?
No, let's concentrate on this missing one at number 9. Missing bowler. Are there any bowlers in past history?
Okay, this just top 10 bowlers in Australian cricket.
Richie Benaud.
Yeah, but he was a leggy. He already got a leggy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
This is what it says here, son. Okay. Shane Warne, Glenn McGrath, Dennis Lilly, Charlie Turner. I do not know who that is.
No.
Jeff Thompson, Brett Lee, Mitchell Johnson, Craig McDermott, Jason Gillespie, Nathan Lyon.
Jeez. I think Thompson.
I think you might have to go with Thompson. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's what... Yeah. Brett Lee gets a lot of... everyone reckons he's really good, but...
I'd probably put McDermott before Brett Lee.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. All right. Let's for shits and giggles, let's put Thompson. Now we're down to 12th man.
You could probably put another spinner there.
Nathan Lyon. Based on stats.
Based on stats, he's the 3rd highest Australian wicket taker of all time.
Then Lyon, eh?
Here we go. He actually is. How's that for... he's got 390 wickets, man.
I'm going to go with the Lyon, number 12. Because then in Sydney you can play 2 spinners. Warne and Lyon together. Actually, I didn't mind Stuart McGill, actually.
Yeah, but Stuart McGill was down the...
He's probably the unluckiest cricketer in the history of Australian cricket.
Oh, without a doubt. And so was the other... was it Hodge? Hodge from Victoria?
Brad Hodge.
Was it Brad Hodge? He scored a ton and played for Australia and got dropped?
Got dropped.
After scoring a ton?
Figure that one out.
Who the hell gets dropped after scoring a ton?
And what about as a coach?
I like JL as a coach. I reckon JL's pretty good.
I do too, but I don't think that he's done enough to...
Well, from what he's come and what he's done...
he's retained an Ashes. He hasn't won an Ashes, has he?
Oh, Bobby Simpson. Bob Simpson?
It's probably Simpson.
He was okay. Bobby, yeah.
It's probably Simpson, yeah. Who else has there been in our time? Coaches. Well, it's not going to be Mickey Arthur, that's for sure. Hang on, did Mick Arthur coach Australia or was it Western Australia he coached?
He coached WA. He coached both, actually.
He coached Australia, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure he did too.
Lehman?
And Buffett. No. Lehman, no. Australian coach was the other guy, one with the
tall guy that Shane Warne can't stand. He had the mustache. Yeah. I can't think of his name. I think it's Bob. Let's just go with Bob Simpson. All right.
I thought it was a pretty good discussion, but that's what I agree with that. Agree with that team, son.
Simon and Mel's greatest ever Australian cricket team. Mark Taylor, Steve Smith.
We actually need 12th man.
I said Lyon.
Oh, Lyon. Okay, yeah, all right, sorry.
So Mark Taylor, Steve Smith, Don Bradman, Ricky Ponting, Steve Waugh, Alan Border, Adam Gilchrist, Shane Warne, Jeff Thompson, Dennis Lilly, Glenn McGrath. Oh, what an attack. What a pace attack that would be. 12th man, Nathan Lyon. Coach Bob Simpson. And who would be the captain?
Oh, you have to go the one and only Bradman, followed by AB.
Was he the captain in his day?
You'd have to. I'm not sure. I wasn't around in those days, but assuming he would. You'd have to put him as captain.
No.
You have to put him as captain and
Border captain.
And Border as VC.
No.
Border as VC. Look how many captains. You got 5 captains to pick from there. Well, who's captain? Tubby was a captain. Steve Waugh was a captain. I'm pretty sure Bradman was a captain. Smith's a captain.
Gilly and Warren, probably vice captains, you could say they were. For me, Alan Border.
Steve Waugh. No.
He's my childhood captain, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to go with...
You got to go with the great Don Bradman.
Was he a captain?
Oh, I'm assuming he was. We can find that out.
I don't care. I want Border. Border and probably Waugh as the vice captain.
You reckon?
Yeah. Was Steve Waugh a better captain than Mark Taylor?
He was more successful than Mark Taylor.
Well, there you go.
Pretty sure he was.
I'm going AB and then Steve Waugh. What do you think?
Well, I got to give it to the one and only. I'd personally go maybe Bradman then. Well, let's just find out if he was actually captain first. Was Bradman ever a captain? Find that one. Has been named. Here we go. He got named the best captain of. There we go. Don Bradman. It's great. Don has been named captain of an all-time Test World 11. You got to give it to him.
Okay, I suppose he was the captain then.
Yes, you have to give it to. You have to give it to him, and then AB is your vice captain.
All right, I can live with that.
What a team that would be!
All right,
what a team!
There we go. That was a great pointless exercise.
It was good fun. I thought it was. There's every now and then you open a super drive there and have a question there. It's good for a little conversation starter.
Yeah, maybe we should do another one. Australia's greatest 11 football team of the round ball code.
Oh, the round ball code. Ooh, Schwarzer. Oh,
not now. Let's not do it now. Let's have another beer and think about it. Then we'll come back to another podcast episode and do it then. Actually, a couple of weeks ago on, I think it was Instagram, WA Police put out this video.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
You know, there's this, I think it's a TikTok craze or an Instagram craze. I don't even know. Snapchat, one of these stupid social media things, dancing to some song. Mm. So I just wanted to say, like, what do you think of WA Police doing that? There was only 3, granted, and 3 cops. But spending their time putting together dance videos to put on social media. Spending their time, our money, basically. That's the point of it.
Our police resources, yeah. No,
exactly.
fair, cool.
That's my point. That's our money.
Yes, you are right, but it doesn't really bother me.
I find that annoying.
I just don't follow TikTok and all that crap, to be honest with you. I think it's annoying.
Don't follow it, but it's hard to miss when people retweet and all this kind of thing. So,
but in saying that, I do think it is. Well, it's not probably a good look for. Not to say it's not a good look because they probably think, oh, they do.
Well, it's not that. It's not even a bad look because most of the comments were like, "Oh, this is awesome," you know. So it's PR, all right. But at the end of the day, when we were growing up, were the police all about good, warm, and fuzzy PR?
No, they were to be police force.
They were there to be feared, right? Not feared like fearing that they're going to belt the shit out of you, but feared that you don't want to get in the wrong side of the law.
Yeah.
That's out the window. And things like this just underline that for me.
That's very cool.
It just shows that there's no one defers to authority anymore, you know? Mm. Like the police are not seen as an authority. They're there as, to be shit kicked, literally, by crims. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. But like I said, like to me, does it like I didn't even say no, but you are. I think it is probably not the best use of police resources. Sometimes I don't think the police resources should be like to have a car sitting there. Well, what was the car doing there? And that wasn't exactly like it wasn't practiced.
They were driving along. They get and there's some music
That's
playing.
what I'm saying.
They
What
get
the
out
other
of the
thing-
car, stand in front of the car, and do some choreographed dance.
Yeah, but the other thing is it's obviously been planned. They obviously spent time doing it.
Yeah, they had to rehearse it. So there's not just the 30 seconds or a minute, whatever it is of the video.
Of the TikTok.
They probably spent a day, at least.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
true.
We paid those wages while they were doing this bullshit. And just to finish on that, there weren't many negative comments either. So not many people think that and think, look at that and think critically or cynically like me. I know it's a cynical view, it totally is, but I'm not apologizing for it either.
I personally believe that demographic is always going to be, that's awesome, who they're targeting. They're not targeting
they're obviously targeting the millennium crowd or whatever.
the millennials, yeah.
Millennial crowd. But what are you indoctrinating them with? Like we were taught to respect police as an authority, as authority figures. I don't look at that and see authority figures.
I'll probably look at it and do a TikTok while they're getting arrested.
I look at that and if I look at that, if I'm likely to become a criminal in future, I look at that and go, this is going to be an easy career for me. Come on. I'll get away with plenty of shit if that's the cops.
They weren't exactly the most feared police officers too. What do you do, Simon?
Anyway, I'm sure that there's a very big silent majority out there that would agree with me.
There'll be a high element of people that would agree with you, yes.
Good.
But like I was saying to you, to me, again, I think TikTok and all this social media is a waste of resource, full stop. So. Especially TikTok. Well, they're going to do a 30-second video. What for? Why does the police need a TikTok? Honestly. Yes, okay, I get having a Twitter account because they can put information out, as in accident here or this is happening or stay here. That because it actually serves a purpose. Even Instagram to a point and Facebook. But TikTok's about 30-second music videos. Really? You don't need the police force don't need a TikTok account. Do you believe they need a TikTok account?
Not at all.
Exactly.
But yeah, I suppose, that's the thing these days about being warm and fuzzy and connecting with where the young crowd is.
Yeah, like I said, I see other platforms of social media for the police worth it, but TikTok I definitely don't see it worth it. There's a bit of bickering going amongst the premiers this week between the New South Wales Premier, the West Australian Premier, and the South Australian Premier and the Queensland Premier, all about power and closing the borders and don't let it. New South Wales is a dirty state. And I'm like, whoa.
What? A dirty state?
Well, because of they had COVID infections.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, come on, seriously. The other one was that we shouldn't take advice from someone that had the Ruby Princess. And I was like...
Who was saying all this stuff?
Well, Mark McGowan said that one about the Ruby Princess. But regardless, I'm like, why are you all bickering? Aren't we all Australian? We're supposed to have a goal together.
I am.
Now they've all made it political amongst themselves.
You are.
WA, no, pardon?
We are.
Me. We are.
Australian.
We're supposed to be. We are. It's what we're supposed to be. But what I'm trying to say is that it's come to a point now where it's all become political point scoring. And it's actually really quite sad. Because you're supposed to be finding a common cause. And it's like, oh, no, we can't do this and we can't do that. We've got to lock the borders down. Or we don't want them doing that because look at the bad statistics they got over there. We're doing a great job. It's like, people. Last time I checked, my passport still says Australia. So we all should be looking at this as a national. I think they're getting a bit, I think all the premiers, and it's all of them, not just Perth or WA or New South Wales. It's all the premiers. They're letting this power get a bit to their head, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose they want to be seen as the leading state when it comes to dealing with this, I suppose. I mean, it looks good for them, the stats, right? The stats look good for WA, doesn't it?
Well, in saying that, only WA is going to vote for their premier. So What does he care what everyone else thinks?
Exactly. So they are all playing to their constituency.
You're correct. Which I think it's unfortunate because that's what politics is. It's what politics has become.
Should the state borders be reopened?
I probably not straight away, but I'm for opening them or having a plan to open them.
Do they have a gradual plan?
Well, they haven't.
For it?
There's no gradual plan. Like,
right.
I do believe the interstate border should be open. Why shouldn't a person from Geraldton? Why can't we go up to Geraldton or Coral Bay or Exmouth?
We talked about that a week or two back, and yeah, we totally agree. The intrastate borders are bullshit. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, but even like they opened them, but they still opened them to what? You still like if you're in Lehman, you can go as far south as Albany, but you can't go to Geraldton. It's crazy. Oh, sorry, Jurien Bay, not Lehman. But I'm saying if you're in Jurien Bay, you can go as far south as Albany, which is 600 odd k's, but you can't go to Geraldton. Again, it's all become a political football now.
How's your Chinese mates slapping on 80% tariffs on barley producers and exporters?
Oh, it's interesting.
It's getting interesting, all that stuff, isn't it? Did I send you that article during the week about Chinese? It was all about Chinese culture and how they're all about saving face. You would know a fair bit about this, having travelled there quite a bit. But their culture is all about saving face. You basically can't admit that you've done something wrong because that's like you lose face. They would never admit that they've put a foot wrong or they're at fault for anything. And this is a big reason why they were trying to block an independent inquiry into the coronavirus.
But this is what I don't understand about China. Like, they could be the biggest winners out of this independent inquiry. They could actually be the biggest winners.
How so?
How you think? Well, if they came across and said, "Yeah, come on, we made a mistake," everyone would be sympathetic to the Chinese. Not if they're arrogant, because tall poppy syndrome. Welcome to Australia. We don't like that. The rest of the Western world doesn't like tall poppy syndrome. I think they handled it a little bit wrong, the Chinese, That's my opinion.
That's their way. So
yes, it is.
That's the only way they know, I suppose. So, that's their story and they're sticking to it. It sucks, this, what would you call it, financial war that they're waging, I suppose.
But they're a net importer. Don't forget that.
Okay.
They are a net importer. So they import more than they export, which is quite ironic.
Right.
Because you've got to feed 1.3 billion people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people to feed. It's a lot of steel that they need to make.
Yeah, well, the tariff is on their imports of Australian barley, right? They must import a fair bit of barley. You whack on an 80% tariff, you're almost paying double overnight.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. So the poor Australian producer, it's all right. It's all right if importers just still keep importing and they pay it. If Chinese importers are happy to pay it.
There's no benefit to the Australian exporter. But what you have to understand is all this is doing is forcing Australian exporters to look for new markets.
And wouldn't that be good? If they could just replace China with a new market.
I don't understand why we don't do enough business with Indonesia. There's 300 million people there.
Yeah.
You got India.
I was going to say India as well.
You got Bangladesh, you got Vietnam, you got all these countries that are just north.
What China deserves out of this is that the rest of the world leaves them out in the cold.
Well, it's not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
And that's an unfair thing to say on the average Chinese person who just needs goods and services and food, basically. So
absolutely. And look, like I said, I've been to that country plenty of times, and I do like that country. And majority of people, 99%, are really good people.
Politically, they are.
The Chinese people and CCP do different things.
They've shown their hand, basically, very transparently in this whole situation, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's China.
They've shown what they're all about.
But like I was saying, I like China. I reckon it's a great country. And there's still a lot to offer. And there's a lot more probably what Australia could offer them as an export. Australia got to make all this is doing now is Australia has to bring back a bit of manufacturing, which I can't see it happening, but they should do an element of manufacturing or processing here in Australia would be fantastic. And that's like when the car industry left.
Yeah.
You know my gripe about the car industry.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't upset about, it's Ford or it's Holden or this or that. I was upset as a person who was in manufacturing before to see a manufacturing plant go. It's sad. It's wrong. It's actually wrong. I've seen, I was in the timber industry. I saw the timber industry just fall over. Gone. You know, I was in the furnishing industry. I saw that get attacked. You know, and then as a customer, seeing the car industry get destroyed. Prior to, obviously, before us was the clothing manufacturing and textile industry. That got smashed. Believe it or not, apparently Australia used to make great clothes and shoes. Can you believe it? Have you ever heard of anyone buying Australian-made clothes and shoes? Doesn't exist. But apparently we did many, many, many years ago. So, unfortunately, I think what's going to happen is we probably have to become more ingenuitive. So think a bit more outside the square and hopefully use less reliance on foreign countries like China or look for new markets. Because right now everything, we've got to sell this to China, iron ore to China, gas to China, aluminium to China, rare earth to China, rare mineral to China, beef to China, barley to China, wheat to China, everything's to China. Well, don't forget, the US has got 350 million people. They're looking at, I'm sure they'd be happy to look at Australian products. And bear in mind, right now, we are cheap in the export market. We're a cheap commodity. We're a cheap place to purchase from. The Aussie dollar's at 65 cents. I remember going back when I was importing, we were $1.03. We were expensive to export. You're at 65 cents. That's relatively quite affordable. That's why I think Australia actually has got a potential because it's been with a fairly low Aussie dollar, potential to export and look for new export markets.
Should we wrap it up there for the day?
We'll wrap it up there.
I'll talk to you.
Too easy.
All right. Ciao.
Ciao.
Out front to the man, Michael Jordan. Jordan up top, fake left, go right. He's there, lay it up, score it easily. Wow. Stockton inside of Carmelo, they double it. Jordan knocks it away from him. Jordan's got it. The Bulls can win it right here. The Bulls can win it. Unbelievable.
16 seconds left. Bulls down 1. Michael against Russell, 12 seconds. 11, 10. Jordan a drive. Hangs, fires, scores! He scores! The Bulls lead 87-86 with 5 2/10 left. And now they're one stop away. Oh my goodness.
Russell comes into Stockton. Stockton 4 seconds. Stockton at 3 up out front. Trimming. No. Ball tipped away. Chicago is world champions once more. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship in the last 8 years.
To the Chicago Bulls, the 1998 NBA champion, and a team for the ages. Congratulations.